Hey guys, Albert with Rescued Roots again. So as promised, I am going to show y'all how I'm gonna move my pitcher plant back to its original home. Um, so let me just give you a little bit of the backstory. So I bought these pitcher plants probably about 2 years ago. I bought maybe about I think 10 of them. They were very small, about like an inch big. They were definitely like starter plants. Bought them for like $5.99 each, and I was like, oh, this is a really good idea. Like, people are really into carnivorous plants, and I can try reselling them fast. But I ended up liking them so much that I decided to keep them. I forgot about them once. Most of them dried up, and I think I was left with like maybe 3 or 4. And this is basically what I'm left with now. So I always try like experimenting and figuring out what they like the best. So pitcher plants are a type of carnivorous plant that normally will grow in swamp or wetlands. There's some that grow in Asia, some that grow in North America, South America. So about these plants, they have like a modified leaf. I don't have any pictures right now because they're kind of struggling, but the leaf will grow, and then at the end of it will grow a nice little purple pitcher. So this one specifically is called a purple pitcher plant. You can look up the scientific name if you want to. It does start with its nephrentes. Just so you're aware, if you actually look in, let's see if we can get that in the video. There's actually some new growth right there that is gonna be forming the pitcher. So what I'm gonna do in this video right now is I'm just gonna cut back a little bit and just show you how to set this up. This isn't the only way you can do it. This is just the way I found to be more successful. With all the plants you get, you really just need to figure out the easiest way for you to maintain it, to make the plant happy. So like any type of old weathered leaves. I'm sorry. It's like 3 in the morning. I'm recording this video just because I couldn't sleep, but I definitely know that after I do this video I'll be able to sleep because I did something fun that I wanted to do. So these roots typically have to be wet. We're gonna cut back on the dying leaves just to help, and then I'm gonna refresh the sphagnum moss and put it in my little self-watering pot that I introduced in the last video. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right here is I'm taking out these pitcher plants. I had them kind of soaking their roots in this water. This pot was actually one of my very first pots that I ever got, one of my first orchids in. They were clearance orchids. They were like discounted orchids. Right now I'm so my sphagnum moss is dry. I'm just wetting it right now, so it's gonna absorb a lot of that moisture. I did do a little bit of research before I started this video, and it says some people will use peat moss. Peat moss is the really wet type of soil that you typically get from the stores. So like this plant is in a type of peat moss. It just stays wet. I don't like to use it because it's non-renewable, and it's actually not the most environmentally friendly medium you can use, because it's such in high demand that the big stores usually use it to to sell more plants, but it's not the most ideal medium to use. So we can go over soils in a later video. Okay, so I do have my scissors. I did wipe it down with alcohol. Anytime you're cutting into the plant, you want to make sure you wipe down your scissors or your utensils, and try to make sure that you only use these for your plants, just to make sure they're not dull. So I just use a cotton pad with alcohol. I've also just used like a lighter, and I like kind of gone over it to make them as sterile as possible. It's gardening, so it's just a good idea to practice cleanliness so you don't present any bacteria into the plant. So this is one. So it has two offsets. So what I'm gonna do is just at the very base of the poorly colored plants, I'm just gonna cut them, and I do usually cut them at an angle so it looks more organic. So I'm just 1, 2, gonna remove that one, that one. I've done this quite a few times, so I know it might look like I'm careless, but it's just I know this plant will come back to life. So I'm gonna just remove. So look at those leaves; they just have black on the ends. I'm just gonna remove those. They probably won't ever grow a pitcher, but I do want them to help catch some of the light. Going there, and I typically like to remove all the black just because like I feel like it'll, first off, it's not very pretty to look at, and then it's just maybe it harms the plant, who knows. Okay, so I'll just put it back in this water, okay, so that way it can soak. And typically anytime you cut into a plant, you want to make sure that it doesn't get wet within like the next day. I am gonna spray these after I'm done, just because they like that high condensation and humidity. But normally, like if I was doing a succulent, I try to keep any water away for some time, so that way it can callus and not rot. So this one is, honestly, I think this one might be Caputo. But I'm just gonna cut it back. Probably gonna cut it back a little bit. Honestly, probably cut it back to like here, and if it grows, awesome. If it doesn't, hey, it's an experiment. It's a learning experiment. So it looks like it's still alive. There's a little like green in it. So wish me luck. Honestly, like whenever people talk about plants, like yes, it's scary, but the main thing is that you're learning to experiment and learning what works for you. So it's definitely like, it's like being in a laboratory and learning what works and what doesn't. And like you will lose some plants, and that's okay. You know, plants, you know, it does suck when you lose a plant, but guess what? There's another one, and plants do want to thrive and live on and create more plants and spread their seed. Okay, so this is another one. Yo, I'm telling y'all, like through a week ago, these plants were so beautiful. I had so much little new growth. I had like little ones growing, but it's okay. I tried experimenting, so I know that I know where it's happy at. Okay, so I'm gonna leave those like that. So gonna go ahead, and typically I like to I'm really weird, like I like to save all this. So all of this I'm gonna just put in some soil and forget about it for a while. Look, I actually have like this little soil tray. So I'm just gonna like move this in here, and I guess it's like semi-composting. I'm not really sure. I've tried composting and I haven't been successful in it. It actually caused me to be very overwhelmed about 2 years ago, because I was like trying to compost an apartment and it got smelly and wasn't the nicest. So that's something to work with. I definitely want to get back into composting, but figuring out a more manageable way that I can do it, where it's not just too much. So I'm bringing back this self-watering pot. The strings is in there. I'm gonna, honestly, most of the time I don't wear gloves, but if you feel finicky about touching things, or have like, you don't like sensations or weird textures, wear gloves. So I'm gonna remove some of this wet sphagnum moss. This is actually pretty good new sphagnum moss. Sometimes I will like use it from the orchids that I purchased. The bigger ones will tend to come in sphagnum moss. But you can also purchase a new. It's so beautiful when it's brand new. It's really long and it's curly and yellow. And when you wet it, it just absorbs all the water. It's really nice. But I tend to reuse most of my different mediums. Some people will tell you that it's not a good idea because you can present different bacteria, diseases. But I'm learning, so it's something that I'm okay with. So I got this guy. Filled it somewhat with sphagnum moss. I'm just gonna kind of like finger a little hole for it. Awesome. Now this guy, gonna make a little way for it. Awesome. last but not least, the trifectas. Okay, so I actually like it how it looks. Like, it looks really nice. Gonna grab some more sphagnum moss. Real liberal with it. Go ahead and put that in there. I'm not compacting it very much. You'll learn that with plants. It's it's better for the medium to be very loose packed. Just to kind of help, because air is actually good for the plants. They do need it. I'm gonna put a little bit right here. Awesome. I kind of really like the way it looks. It looks like interesting, kind of like my herb. I really like this. I'm gonna fill it up with water. I'm gonna spritz it with some. You know what? I'm actually gonna fill it up with water, and then in the morning I'm gonna let these ends kind of callus over just to be safe. These are a little finicky, but they're kind of like I say everything's my favorite, but I mean, I guess that's why I like plants. This one is one of my favorites. Honestly, like, whenever I'm not doing so good with my energy level or with my mental health, like, it does decline. But whenever I feel better, it like comes back to life, and it's something that really brings me joy whenever it comes back to life, because I'm like, it's almost like me. Like, just because I have a bad week or a bad day doesn't mean it's over. It just means, hey, you had a bad week. It's okay. And if it dies, it dies. That's okay. You know? Not say, like, if I die, but, like, you know, like, it's okay. That's one of the things that I love about plants, is it really does teach you, like, how to care for yourself. And if it doesn't work out, what's the worst that can happen? Like, literally, the plant might not make it, but you learn and you get more experience and you get to reply. So I've been, like, having these plants for 2 years. Yeah, it could be big and beautiful, but I'm learning how to take care of it. So it dies back, and I had to start over, and that's okay. Kind of looks like a green mustache. Thank y'all so much for visiting. Please let me know if what type of videos y'all would like to see. I will probably try recording some more videos later on, probably Sunday, because that's my next day off. I do want to get into the soil videos and probably the watering videos, but I also have to take care of my plants, so who knows. Let me know. If you have any questions, please ask. I also have a little bit of experience with Venus flytraps, and I don't have any other experience with carnivorous plants. But it's actually, like, one of my goals to try setting up a type of I can't think of what the word is called. Like a little aquarium with it, with different little carnivorous plants, terrarium, and it's kind of cool. You just keep the humidity up by spraying it, and you provide high light. These guys also need a high light. They can live outside, but you gotta make sure to keep them watered. But they're a really fun plant. So try it out. If you need any help trying to find them, I can definitely guide you on where to find them, or I can even get them for you if you live in Dallas, and sell it to you. But they're really fun plant to try to grow, because they're one of the, like, different types of plants that are out there. And I know a lot of people. I'm in veterinary medicine. I work in veterinary medicine, and I noticed, like, people, when I was in school, a lot of people were like, oh, I have reptiles. And when this girl was like, I have carnivorous plants. And I was like, oh, she must be, like, legit into it. Because I was like, I also have carnivorous plants, but they don't do so well. Thank y'all so much for listening. Bye, y'all.